and welcome to the FIRE formula. This is something that I sat one afternoon and realized everything that I was doing needed to be written down. So how many of you, put it in the chat, or go ahead and feel free to shout it out, how many of you have actually run ads?
Nope.
Okay, and how many of you would like to run ads?
Nope.
Yeah, yes. Ads are the fuel to the fire that your social media, that your messaging, that your emails are already building. And let's say you've got a really good social media post and it's starting to smolder. Now is the time to pour some fuel on it. But let's see first, what exactly does that look like? With everything that we're doing in social media, I want to let you know how I came about this. I love to scuba dive. This is on a wreck off of the coast of Pompano Beach. I'm the one in the background with the white fins. There's this new statue sunk on the wreck. But prior to that, going into all this AI stuff and marketing stuff and Facebook ad stuff, I was in the healthcare industry. My doctoral degree is in occupational therapy. And as an occupational therapist, we study psychology, we study sociology, we study medicine, the systems of the body, anatomy, physiology, and we are trained to break down tasks to figure out how they work. I've taken that knowledge and applied it to what I do with marketing, and it seems to work out pretty darn good because somehow I've got a great knack for this. Now, what I like to do is teach and dream about where to go in the world to not only scuba dive, but enjoy new cultures and new experiences. So what I've learned is where marketing gets really effective is when it answers three main questions that people have. Now, the first question is, who are you? Because, you know, when you first see an ad on a page, when you first see an advertisement, even back in newsprint days and magazines, who is this? Who is this from? And then there's that question, well, what is it? You know, it's kind of like when you're in a networking group and someone approaches you, they want to have that one-on-one Zoom call with you, and you're like, well, who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? It's kind of the same with an ad. So when I talk about ads, this is specifically what I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about this part of your screen on a Facebook feed. See here, we've got a nice, beautiful picture. We've got, looks like they're going to have an event. We've got some text up here. And up here, we've got the word sponsored. This is what clues us into, it's an ad. So I broke that down into a very simple graphic where you have the graphic that's in there, the ad copy, the sponsored by, headline, and the description and CTA, that's all the way at the bottom. What ends up happening is we first look at the graphic or the video. Now, here's the deal. Graphic is where people buy from. Video stop the scroll. And these days, our trusty, rusty phones, our cute phones, these are the main things people are using to look up ads. You know what they do is they'll stop the scroll here on their phone, but then what they do is they go back on their computer and they may do some research about you and kind of go, well, you know, I think I like what they're saying, or they might look up some testimonials or reviews about you. It all stops with this graphic or video. They may read the headline, and then from there they read the ad copy, and they want to check out, well, who sent me this? So bottom line, that graphic is where it all starts. But how do you know what graphic to use? Oh yeah, then there's the famous call to action, the CTA. Can't forget that. It's all part of the FIRE formula. F stands for feeling. Do it with me. How they feel. How do you make them feel? Put those hands together. How do they make them feel? Make them feel good? Do you make them want to throw up in their mouth because of that pain point you just hit? Or are you just leaving casualties because they don't feel anything at all and they're just scrolling on by? Got to know what they're feeling first. So how does their problem feel to them? All too often, I see emails, social media posts, ads. I've done this. I made this mistake because I get excited about what I'm offering. But it's not about me, it's about you. What are you feeling? What do you want? What makes the difference for you? How does your problem feel to you? Is it kind of like a one of those like gnats? You just got to brush it away, keep moving forward. No reason to spend money on fixing the problem. Is it like a knife through the heart where you're like, oh, if I don't fix this, I'm gonna die kind of thing? Or is it more like, yeah, someday I'll get around to that. Someday never happens, does it? I don't know about you. My calendar doesn't have someday on it. It's got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but not Sunday. So let's say they've got that, knife in the heart feeling. They've got to fix it. They've got to fix it now. Why are they looking for a solution? Why are they looking for a solution? It's usually the reason that they're going to buy from you. And this is key. This is key. If you know why they're going to buy from you, you know what they're feeling about their problem. So we're going to use some ChatGPT here. Some people have used ChatGPT, some haven't. Put a 1 in the chat if you've used ChatGPT. If you've gone to this website, openai.com, I've used the free account and I've used the paid account. I used the free account out of curiosity when they came out with 4.0, because I was like, well, why would I still pay for it if everybody gets everything under the free version? Right? And they started to slowly squeeze it down. First, I would only get a few minutes of time, maybe like 45 minutes or so. Then I get like 35 minutes of time, and then maybe like 25 minutes of time. Here's what happened. Even though I got the time on the platform, the length of time I had to wait to go back on after I'd used it, my accessing time, got longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. Yes, I'm back on the paid version now because it just makes me nuts to keep waiting. So $20 a month, best marketing assistant you could ever ask for, hands down. Okay. And yes, there's a little bit of setup you want to do when you're looking at your ChatGPT, when you first open it up, in that top left-hand corner, excuse me, top right-hand corner, click on My Plan. That's where you buy things, but also that settings button is where you can customize whether or not to use the memory. I turn mine off when I'm working on my client accounts. I turn it back on when I'm working on my company's stuff and working with my team. So any questions about that? We're looking good, looking good. Okay, now if you're listening to the replay, feel free to email me your questions if we didn't answer them here. Prompt number 1, ChatGPT, put a prompt in, you got a response. Prompt is what you ask ChatGPT, the response is what ChatGPT tells you back. And when I say ChatGPT, you might be using Claude, you might be using Bing, now known as Gemini, Bard. No, Bard's turned into Gemini. They've come with so many names these days. But here's the thing, because ChatGPT's been around the longest, it's got the biggest database. When Claude came out, it was more robust than ChatGPT because it had trained on more information, and you could upload larger products such as the Bible. You could upload the entire Bible to Claude. Now ChatGPT has grown and developed. It's at that point as well. The reason I mention this is when you're starting off with a tool and somebody comes along and says, oh my gosh, stop using that. You've got to use XYZ tool. Feel free to try it. Set a timer. You can set a timer on your trusty, rusty phone for 15 minutes. Otherwise, you could have a rabbit hole where you're going down into something, an hour's gone by, you've got nothing done, and you discovered that this XYZ tool was just as good as what you were using before. Or 2 weeks later, the one you were using before works better than the XYZ tool. Best thing you can do is stick with something for at least 30 days, master it. And when you sign up for AI tools, use the same email address. That way everything's in the same place. Okay, enough about all that. Prompt number 1. Now, part of my occupational therapy background is studying human behavior. That's where the sociology and psychology comes in. One of the areas that's similar to occupational therapy is anthropology. Anthropology is the study of human behavior. So wouldn't it be great to ask ChatGPT to pretend to be an anthropologist and that study of human behavior? Because when you're looking at human behavior, that's how you learn about emotions and feelings and why people do things. So I asked ChatGPT to come up with a reason for me to sell a certain product to a certain client. I'm going to be sharing all these prompts with you, so don't feel like you've got to copy and paste or type or write like a mad person. You'll receive all these on a Google Doc. So I asked them, and the product I inserted here was for a single mom. That's my ideal customer, a single mom. And the product was how to start a business. A course on how to start a business, because she's looking for some extra coin at the end of the month. So when I'm asking ChatGPT to please list the emotional attributes of this ideal customer, what drives them and why they want to succeed, we're starting to like peel away the layers of an onion. You may get to know someone a little bit. Think of like when you had that cup of coffee with that new next door neighbor, or you found a new store and you really like the sales clerk. At first, your conversation's real light, but then it goes a little bit deeper and you learn more about that person. But ChatGPT accelerates that and goes deep for you. So out of those reasons that ChatGPT gives you, how would you rank them on a scale of 1 to 10? We're adding some logic into emotional attributes here. And as you can see, this black section of the screen is the response I get from ChatGPT. And it ranked everything on that scale of 1 to 10. Now, I asked about 10 being the most painful, because just to give ChatGPT guidelines to go by. Now, from there, you can go into which one is the biggest motivator. Their top pain point may or may not be their biggest motivator. That knife that's in their heart could be the motivator, but it also could be something a little deeper than that. You know, the need for security for this woman, her desire for independence, a drive for flexibility and freedom. This is starting to sound like some of your clients, right, Sean? Yeah. Okay, so after this, for what? Put it in the chat for me. Feelings. What are they feeling? So the next part of the FIRE formula we've got to figure out is investigate. What are we going to investigate? How does your product solve their problem? Because you may have a great product and it may do a million things, but how does it solve the problem? Let's talk to ChatGPT. One of the ways it can solve a problem, which becomes immediately evident for just about anybody, is what difference does it make in an average day? Some people call this the before and after effect. What was their life like before they had your product? And what was their life like after? If we get down to something as narrow as their average day, now you've got something they can relate to. So what does an average day look like for that ideal customer? This is the beginning of our investigation. Well, we've got a lunch break, an afternoon, a late afternoon, and then in the evening, the late evening, the night. This was a really, really long response I got from ChatGPT. Can you tell? Yeah. So the average day could start early in the morning and go late into the evening. And it's important to get these details down and to really consider them. because you want to know where you're going to make an impact on people. This also could clue you in onto when they're the busiest and when they're not. When you're writing your ads, you could have it kind of play into that time of day when they're probably on their phone, their mind's adrift, and they're scrolling through Facebook. So leading us to the next prompt, number 5, when they add your product, how does that average day change? This is ChatGPT's response. This how to start a business course for a single mom makes her days even more structured, but gives her hope and a sense of progress. Now, hope is the emotional word there. So now every part of her day is touched by her drive to build a better future. And while it's demanding, the vision of her own business keeps her going. Your product, if it gets them out of bed in the morning and drives them throughout their day, is a very effective product. Unless you're able to relate that to them in your ad, they're not going to buy the product. So some of the ways I'm thinking about using something like this is telling a story. What if you told a story about someone that used your product and how their average day changed? Maybe their day was miserable without your product, and they spent most of the time crying in their soup or not answering the phone because they were afraid it was a bill collector. And then you gave them a resource so they could manage their money, so they would have income. They would have more money. Now they're answering the phone. Now they're smiling. Now they're going to the grocery store. And they're enjoying socializing with their friends. So before and after, telling a story is the best way to do that. So here we go back to those feelings. So we've looked at their average day. How does their average day change? So if we're able to look at that and then incorporate feeling into it, we touched a little bit on it in the last prompt. In that last prompt with the hope, the drive, pulling her vision, pulling her through her day. So let's say, for example, your ideal client has a vision of themselves traveling the world. Well, if they're going to be traveling the world, holding that vision for them and describing it in an ad of waking up on a cruise ship. You just left the port of Rome. You just left the port of Rome, Italy, and you're headed to Monaco. Describing it for them. But exactly how do they feel? Now, ChatGPT has gotten really interesting here because they're discussing the internal emotions that this single woman, this single mom actually feels. And if she's feeling empowered and capable, excited and motivated, validated and supported, she feels overwhelmed but determined, focused and purpose-driven, proud and resilient, or hopeful and optimistic. These are different emotions you can incorporate into your copy for your ad. But how do we know how that affects her? Lifestyle, going into lifestyle. So if her lifestyle changes, it's because of that emotional change. Just like we talked about someone that wasn't able to afford, everyday life, and they're crying in their soup. They're not answering the phone. The lifestyle changes. So for this mom, she's not going to have as much free time because she's taking a course on business, on how to start her business. But now she's more focused and using that time productively. So she feels more purposeful, which builds her hope up. So, and looking at more ways this impacts her, she's got the intentional parenting now. Because remember, part of her issue was well-being of her children. So now she's able to feel better about taking care of her kids. Now, enhanced self-care and well-being might also be part of it for her. She gets more purpose-driven mindset, and she gets a sense of building a legacy. Now, there's an emotion, building a sense of legacy. You know, in my Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the very bottom of that list is food, shelter, and clothing. Once that's served, once that's completed and fulfilled, from there, you go upwards until you're at the point with what's something called self-actualization. Well, when you're at those levels, you're starting to think of what is your legacy? How will people remember you? As a young mom, a young single mom, she's already thinking of that. You could actually build that into your marketing. Now, from the opposite perspective of that, if your client's thinking, well, I can't possibly use this new product because it's going to take away from my legacy. Well, then you speak to them about keeping that legacy intact. If their fear is losing the legacy, reinforce how their legacy stays intact for them. Status is a really big hook or emotional state for people. For this young single mom, her status is one of a single mom prior to not having a course on how to build a business. Her status is one of, what the heck am I going to do to support my family? I need more money. Afterwards, her status becomes, I'm able to support my family. So what is their status before and after? That's also part of their legacy and a purpose-driven mindset for them. So I threw a bonus prompt in here. Are you curious what the bonus prompt is? Give me one in the chat. Awesome. Awesome. So the bonus prompt, what else do you need to know about selling your product to this particular customer? What else do you need to know? This is why I call ChatGPT my marketing assistant. Because I will ask ChatGPT, what else do I need to know? What am I missing? This comes from a tremendous business leader that I mentored under by the name of Keith Cunningham. And Keith Cunningham talks about sitting in an Italian piazza and watching a beautiful merry-go-round rotate and turn many, 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 many times. And he would see people try to grab that gold ring on the merry-go-round. And some of them would get it, and some of them never got it. And as he watched everybody do this, he thought to himself, when I go to grab the gold ring, what am I missing? What's keeping me from grabbing that gold ring? That question, what am I missing, is one of the first things I ask at the end of a project. Before it's complete, I ask, what is missing? So what else do I need to know about selling this business course to this single mom? And ChatGPT gave me a response. Positioning the course as a path to financial security was number one, offering the clear actionable steps, flexible learning, on-the-go accessibility, real-life success stories, relatable case studies. And the list goes on and on. So when you're using the FIRE formula, feelings, and then investigate, what else is missing? From there, relate. We know they've got feelings. We know their emotional state. We've investigated how our product can improve their life, how it fits into their life, how it changes their daily average life, their average life day. And then what's missing? How can how can they relate to all of that? How does that make the buyer think of themselves? So the next prompt, in 9 words or less, write 5 headlines for Facebook ads that focus on the pain. Write 5 more headlines that focus on the change in the lifestyle for the ideal customer. We've got pain, and then we've got the change in their daily life or lifestyle. So if we take those headlines, because remember, people look at the graphic first or the video, then they read the headline.
Yes.
Then the headline creates the ad copy. So once you've got your 5 versions of your headlines, now you want 5 versions of your ad copy. And ChatGPT graciously gave this all to me. Now I'll give you an insider secret. There's people in the world called copywriters, and some of them have developed very unique styles for different platforms and different types of communication. If you ask ChatGPT, who's a copywriter that's really good at writing these headlines? ChatGPT will tell you. And then you could say, well, let's put it in this style, like this. So you can either go with what ChatGPT is telling you, or you can go in the style of a copywriter. Now, for when you're studying copywriting, as I know you are, Bernd, this is a fantastic tool to get a feel for who else is out there and what else is available. So we've got the 5 versions of ad copy focused on pain, and then we've got the 5 versions of ad copy focused on the change in the lifestyle. Remember those 3 questions. Who remembers the first question? Go ahead and put it in the chat. I see some typing. There you go. Sean, who is this person? Well said. Well said. And what is the second question? Barrett, awesome. What do you have? And Sean, why are they bothering me? Those bothersome ads. Why are they doing? What are they doing here? You know, those bothersome ads. Oops. Oh, I missed. You're right. Those are the 3 questions. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? That leads us to E, edutainment. So first we know feeling, investigate, relate, and then edutainment. This is the fun part. Edutainment is your graphic or your video. Now, how many of you know AI can create graphics for you? Sean does. Anybody else? Mayor's like, yes, I think so. And if you're listening to the recording, I'm curious what your thoughts are, if you knew this or not, because this is quickly evolving. I love a tool called Ideogram, ideogram.ai, and it's gotten to be very good in creating graphics. It was the first AI tools to put text into graphics and do it fairly accurately. That's how I created a lot of my images for the playbook that I have. Now, video is a fantastic resource. It is basically creates a video off of a description, so you don't have to go in front of a camera to educate your prospects. It uses B-roll, operates off of a description, and then it has an editing capability where you go in and switch out the videos that you don't like. And video's a good product. I like it. Runway's a lot more complicated for video editing, but fabulous product. The latest and greatest is Sora, S-O-R-A. Currently, Sora is available to developers. And then I'm getting mixed information on whether it's publicly available or just to developers only. But this, keep your eyes peeled, because in the next 3 months, it's going to change the landscape of video. It's hot, very hot. So don't feel like you've got to run out there and start making videos or jump in front of cameras, because if you follow the FIRE formula and you're ready to educate them with entertainment, first thing you want to think of is how does your ad make the buyer think of themselves? So if you put them in the ad or their persona in the ad, then they're going to start to think of themselves. If you use the pain points for the lifestyle change, then they're going to think of themselves. So I've got a prompt for you. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to create 2 graphics that show the emotional state of the buyer and the lifestyle after they have, and you would insert your product. So remember, this is our single mom, and the ideal product that we're going to insert in here for her is a course on how to build a business. So this is her in the emotional state after they have the course. She's happy, kids are playing, she's got time to be with the kids. Everyone's having a great time. Now, that image on the left has got some writing on it. I used Ideogram to create these, just so you know. And Ideogram came up with that writing, which was pretty cool. I just said, in a home office setting. Now, another prompt you can use is, how about the emotional state before they have the product? Not a happy camper, is she? No. Now, a lot of times when people think of ads, this part is where people stop and click and buy. Download your lead magnet, fill out a survey, start your quiz. The graphic is where it all begins. But knowing what graphic to create starts with knowing their emotions and their feelings. If we wouldn't have done the prior research of chatting with ChatGPT with the prompts about the product and the emotional state, and what is their life before and after, these images would have been a real trial to come by. But because we fed all the information first, it was much easier to come up with the graphics. This whole process took me about 45 minutes, less than an hour, 45 to 55 minutes to go through everything. Now, prior to using ChatGPT, the whole thing would have taken me, oh my gosh, wow, couple days, 2.5 days, because I would sit down and think about it, do my research, walk away from it, go for a long walk, come back, look at it again, come up and do some more research. And by research, I'm doing things like reading Reddit forums, going into Facebook groups, checking out Amazon reviews. So these particular resources you could still use if you want to double check everything. The reason I mention this is the brevity of time. This is how much time gets saved. So when you're going out there and you're starting your marketing, it shouldn't take as long to get a product to market. Matter of fact, I've been in an AI training program since last June, and oh my gosh, this guy can build websites in less than a day. And they're spot on and convert because he knows what to ask ChatGPT. Now, how many of you would like to be able to shave some time off of your marketing efforts? I know yeah, why not? Why not? So when you have these three questions, who are you, what do you have, and why should I care? The why should I care? Yeah. If you don't answer those, you could have a fire or everything could just kind of smolder away, but the fire never catch on. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, when you're ready for ads, it's because you've got marketing it's already caught fire. Putting your ideas out on social media is the least expensive way to test your marketing and to see what people will respond to. So if you could actually go through this process and come up with your posts, because you could actually take the time. I only had to do 2 graphics. You could do up to 5. If you want to do 10 or 15, you could test as many as 20 headlines. Matter of fact, in my Profitable Ads Playbook, that's one of the things I talk about is testing up to 20 headlines and really drilling down. Now, I recently worked with a client that he had a history of incoming prospects complete some pretty in-depth questionnaires. And those questionnaires talked about how they were feeling at the time prior to getting his services. I was able to feed that into ChatGPT and come up with 20 headlines that were remarkable. And we've had nothing but success with his ads ever since. Why I mention this is if you already have this kind of material available to you, like let's say you start to work with a client on their marketing. If they already have questionnaires people have filled out, if they already have surveys that clients have done, even if it's several years old, human emotions don't don't change that much when people go to buy a product. It's that emotion that drove them to the product. It's pretty rare to have an outlier of an emotion that wasn't the same as the other 90% of the people that bought the product. So you can use that material and information, feed it into ChatGPT and say, what are the primary pain points? And then have it rated on that scale of 1 to 10. Come up with your post it on social media, and then move into ads from there. Now, when I talk about the testing part, that's a whole different ballgame. We're not going to go deep into that. The scope of it is pretty extreme to go into here. And I did want to mention to you that going into 2025, there's some pretty cool AI marketing strategies that could be of help to you. And some of these marketing strategies, we've already talked about using ChatGPT and these prompts, but you know what? There's a lot of other tools out there as well. Now, what I've done is, the way I learn best in a community. So by putting a community together to learn AI and marketing strategies, it's become pretty helpful and shaving off a lot of time, not only for me, but the other members of the community. So would it be okay if I told you more about this community that you could be a part of? Awesome. So it's called the Accelerated AI Club. And yes, we focus on attracting more customers, reducing our costs, and making smarter decisions as entrepreneurs and marketers. You know, I've taken several business courses. The ones that are most memorable were the ones that said, you are not in business of X, you are in the business of marketing X. And as someone selling marketing services, such as copywriting, you're in the business of selling marketing for copywriting. So some of these expert-led resources are members within the group, and others are people that have mastered an AI tool and come to show us that particular tool. We've had such comments as brilliant and mind-blowing calls. These other expert-led resources not only use ChatGPT, but also use automated systems such as Make.com. We've had people come in and show us cheat layers, and more importantly, how to build a custom GPT so that it's safe and secure for your business and your clients' businesses. We have Molly Mahoney, who she came in this past January and gave us a bonus call and showed us how to use AI to create social media content. It's quite a dynamic call. All the calls for the past year and a half are in a vault, and all members get access to those calls. We had a presentation on how to use SEO for e-commerce. Now, SEO is search engine optimization. When you give this information to an AI tool, oof, it comes out pretty good. We get some actual insights, and we also generate some pretty real results. This is Charlene here. She just used Gamma. She uploaded her course transcript, and it pumped out a presentation in 5 minutes. She had 5 minutes of edits, and she was ready to use it during a panel discussion. So great time saving with AI. The community is exclusive. We're on those calls, sharing ideas with each other and brainstorming together too on how else could we use AI in our business. A lot of times the members come up with who they want to listen to and what tool they want to learn more about, such as Notebook LM just recently came out. And we had a couple of calls. We had different experts talk about that tool because it could be used for so many different things. So more evidence of happy members. Mind-boggling expose of wisdom, says Barry Kleinman and Angela. For those of you who have models for how you do things, this training is also for you. Oh yeah. So, and it is one fabulous session, one after the other. Now, discovering the AI tools that can elevate your marketing strategies. You could go do this on your own. You can also save time by automating your business operations, and you could figure this out yourself, or you can do it in a group or community. We have two calls every month on the 2nd and 4th Thursday of the month. We have workshops as well, and those workshops are offered at a discounted rate to the AI Club members. All the calls and workshops are recorded. There's access to a call library. There's actually a foundational resource model in there. Foundational module. The latest AI tools, like I said, Notebook LM came out. We had experts on the call right away to teach us how to use them. And then use case scenarios. You know, for example, we had somebody come show us how to use something called CheatLayer. None of us had ever heard of it, had no idea what to do with it. And he was able to take, I'm going to say 7 or 8 different members and create use cases for CheatLayer for them on the spot. This is usually $97 a month. Going into 2025, I want it to be a special opportunity for you, and it's only $47 a month. This particular rate is something that I'm going to hold true to for the next year. For people on, it'll be at $47 a month until Sunday night, and then I do have to raise it again, unfortunately. So $47 a month until Sunday night, and then the price is going to go back up. So if you want to take your phone and scan that QR code, that's how you would access that for yourself. So, well, there's some common reasons I wanted to share with you why an ad isn't profitable. Because yes, there are profitable ads out there, but there's reasons why an ad isn't profitable. I had an interesting meeting. This matter of fact, it was just yesterday. It was a meeting with a gentleman who tried several different types of marketing. And it was my 3rd meeting with him. So trust me, he'd shown me emails. He showed me landing pages. He showed me ads. And he said, nothing works. I could see there was no emotion in the ads. There was no emotion in the email. It was all about, this is my program. This is the money you could save. No emotion. Had his bio there, looked very professional. Everything looked very hunky-dory, but there was no emotional there. And that's the biggest reason why the ad wasn't profitable. So misjudging the driving emotions is a surefire way to have an ad not bring you profits. not even having the emotions in there, you've got the same problem. And it's not relatable to the buyer. Now, we're here talking about ads. I have seen ads where the graphic has nothing to do with the ad. So how does it relate to the buyer? Everything's, it's like one big common thread that goes through the graphic and the ad copy and the headline. Your call to action, when that's not relatable, that could be a problem. This particular gentleman, everything said, click here for your free consultation. That could be reworded to be a little more guttural, a little more visceral, a little more knife in the heart. So, for example, buy my shiny stuff doesn't work. Yeah. Join us. How about secure your spot? How about see what other people are saying? Grab your seat. Save X amount of dollars now. Or how about check out the details? Because you want it to relate to them individually. You're not having a group sign up, you're having an individual sign up. The individual emotions that's occurring within their mind and in their heart. Ooh, another bonus. Fire. Woohoo. Oh, this is your one-to-one power call. Since you are here, this is my promise to you, a one-on-one power call. I've got a QR code there. And it looks like it's right over the top of that power part. And it should go right to my Calendly link. And this power call is an hour long. So when you're listening to this, please feel free to grab that QR code and schedule your power call. I want to thank you for your time and attention. I know we had a couple of questions that came in via chat. And I'm looking to see one of those questions was about how to set up an ad account. Well, Facebook's gotten pretty interesting with setting up an ad account. And I do have a really cool Google Doc that goes through all those steps. So here's the deal with a Facebook ad account. You may or may not be aware of this, but think of like your personal account is a plot of dirt. And then on that plot of dirt, you've got a business page. That business page is the foundation. So it could be the foundation for your new home. So you've got your dirt, which is your personal page, the foundation, that's your business page. And then on the business page, that's where the framework of the house is built. That framework of the house is called the business manager. And the business manager houses all of the fantastic components that you need to run an ad profitably. The first part is your ad manager. Second part is your business page. Got to have a business page. And the third component is your pixel. The pixel is a tracking mechanism that tracks who comes to your house and who doesn't. It's analogous to who watches your ad and who doesn't watch your ad, who clicks on your ad. When they do click on your ad and go to your website, how long do they stay on your website? And then Facebook actually has this fantastic secret room in the house called the audience. Now, I have a group of people I teach for Facebook ads, and we recently went over this audience section, and the eyes were like, wow, is that how this works? Yes. Okay, so how many of you have researched something that you'd like to have and gone, oh, I'm getting ads about it all the time now? Does that happen to you? You research something and now you're getting ads about it? Yeah. I recently did some research for a prospect. So in order to do that, I had to go on some competitors' websites. Those competitors have got some really, really heavy audience building. The audience building, that secret room in the house, is how the retargeting is done. And that audience is built by the pixel tracking everybody that goes to the ad, that goes to your website. And then you can set that up to have people retargeted for 7 days, 1 day, 2 days, 90 days, 365 days, depending on what they looked at. If they looked at your Facebook post, or if they looked at your website, or if they just stopped on your ad and drug their mouse across it. This is the audience building. This is the secret room in the house. So when you're working with someone on writing ad copy and you're writing your own, that emotion that keeps people on the page gets the pixel to know they're there because they're hovering over it. And then the pixel knows they're interested. And depending on how long they stay there, what they did, you could send them another ad. This is how you go from a cold audience, someone who doesn't know anything about you, to a warm audience. Someone who's at least seen you once or twice and is familiar with you. And then they buy, because people get to know you and like you and trust you. This is also a good way to test out different hooks, different emotional states. Like we talked about the pain points, and then we talked about the legacy or how someone would feel after they have your product. So you could test out ads about those pain points and see if people respond to it. And if they do, you would retarget them. But if they're not responding to it, then you go over here and look at the lifestyle. Look at the outcome and test that. And if people are staying on that, then you retarget that. It's a great way to keep your costs low. And it's a great way to keep your clients happy. Because if you can keep their costs low, the happier they are. And keeping those costs low starts from, what is your headline? Headline is based on the emotions, the feeling. So this is the ultimate in getting your Facebook ads moving forward and getting your marketing moving forward, and using AI to save time to get it right. I know when I first started using AI, it was kind of hairy-carry. Wasn't getting really great responses. But knowing what to ask and how to ask it made a big difference. So feel free to use that QR code and check out the AI Club, where you can go and learn more marketing strategies and marketing AI tools so that you get that FIRE formula down. And feel free to, I'm going to be sending the replay out as well for you. So you'll have that to review at your leisure. Yes. So did you raise your hand if you feel like you learned 3 things today? Awesome. 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 Yay. And Christian, I know you're off camera, but if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat. Oh. I'll give you a couple minutes on that in case you had to walk away. You never know, right? Right? Okay. Oh, Christian, she will do, but she's fine right now. Awesome. And my pleasure, Bernd. It is a great approach for social media. Yes, you got that spot on. Spot on. And you can use it for yourself. You can use it for your clients. I'll be sending out the Google Doc with all those prompts on it, so you have that. And it's yeah, I'm also going to give you some swipe files so you can see some ads that worked and some that didn't work. Those ad swipe files are broken down into categories, so that'll be helpful for you as well. Yes. Now, did everybody get the QR code for your discussion, your one-on-one power call? No? Okay. Let me see if I can grab that.
We've had a call, Teresa. Is there something different that I should do? I don't want to. I don't
Tell you
want
what,
go over more
add
stuff
it
that
to
we've
the
already done
plethora
and waste your
of-
time.
No, it's no waste of my time.
I have the QR code, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Cause I'm over here.
I can get it from the replay, so it's okay.
Okay, awesome. And Christian, did you get that? I'll be sending it out to you in the email as well, so you have that link. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now,